the movie the Zodiac movie is the Zodiac directed by David Fincher, is one of the most greatest pieces of cinema so far in the 21st century. It undeniably seeks to tackle not just what the serial killer did, but the people that were trying to apprehend the serial killer. And not only that, it also deals more with the mysterious nature and the obsessive nature of why we try to focus and obsess over the resolution towards a problem. Why we always try to solve problems, right? That even though they don't really concern us, we still try to solve them, right? It also tells more about truth and how we try to approach truth, how we try to seek for truth, and whether truth does have to be proven, yes or no. Because this movie tackles a lot with how we perceive truth, how we obsess over truth, and how we revolve almost our whole lives over this, right? Now, the Zodiac killer, right? So he basically goes around and he was killing people, but what makes it so weird is the fact that he was leaving clues behind, telling that, hey, I did these clues and all that stuff. What is also very interesting about this film, right, is the fact that we never get to actually find out who the killer ever is, right? It's a movie where there's no like clear-cut resolution, right? However, it does leave the viewer to kind of know, hey, here's the evidence, by the way. You got to make up your mind, right? But we're saying, right, that it's most likely this person, right? 1000%. And you, as the audience, right, you have to convince yourselves, right, that that is that may or may not be the truth, that you must decide for yourself. You can't let police reports, you can't really let anyone, but if you do the research and you try to find the truth for yourself and you do the whole research, you can somewhat find a semblance of truth, really. What makes Zodiac also different, right, is that Graysmith, just the story's protagonist, right, he starts out as curious, but he ends up being consumed over this. He tries to be consumed over this resolution, right? He realizes that it's right there in front of him, yet he's trying to find a way to get something out of it, like trying to find something that can bring justice, but he ends up not really finding too much stuff. However, it also raises a great question as to whether, like, are we seeking the truth sometimes for the ego, which is our personality, or are we trying to seek truth for the better good, right? Because in the movie, it seems to me that Graysmith was kind of like trying to find the truth for himself in a way, and that he was kind of prioritizing it for just himself in a way, and trying to find out who it was rather than like just for it being in the public good. Because it felt like this case kind of overshadowed some of the guys who got killed. It was more for people like trying to be like, aha, I solved it for this and I did that. But, it kind of begs the question, why do we ever obsess over? I believe what I like about this movie is that it raises more questions that the movie doesn't answer too much directly, but it kind of gives us a question that we must ask ourselves. And what I like about the movie is it doesn't give you too much answers, but it leads you to questions that you must answer yourself and decide whether or not, hey, like, do I resonate with it, yes or no? And some of those questions, right, would be like, are we chasing justice or certainty? Does the pursuit of truth just become ego, or is obsession just, again, passion without boundaries, right? Now, we have to feel, right, when we pursue truth, we're going to feel some doubt, we're going to feel all these things going on, and sometimes we're going to feel a lot more alone in our pursuit of what we try to get closure, when we try to get it. Sometimes it's going to involve a lot of pressing on people's toes and doing all those things. That's how it works. Now, what I also liked about the movie was the way the camera angle, like the camera angle kind of, it gives you like, hey, I'm a spectator, kind of like, seeing these people talk and stuff. Like, it's never like Like we don't get too much of a like a very close up. Like we do get close ups, but even then we still feel pretty far away from the action. We still feel like we don't know what's gonna happen or what's gonna come next, right? But it also, um, Zodiac is just an amazing movie also about all of those things, right? Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this movie. I just want to hear some sort of dialogue going on about these questions. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you then.